Alrighty, I've been experimenting, exploring with a lot of corner options. I've been doing a lot of looking for frame kills for meaty setups off of certain knockdowns in the corner. Most specifically, some very convenient ones such as level 1 into meaty what you call it, meaty heavy wind stock, which if you hit any of these things meaty, if you hit wind stock, medium or heavy on the last active frame in any of these setups, I messed that up because I did not do it. Then you can counter DI. The EX one you can get to be like, goes from -5, has 4 active frames, so you can improve that. This can go from -8 to -5 if you do it, so off of certain knockdowns. Depending on how close you want to cut it, some of them are a little bit awkward. For instance, if you ever get like a crouch heavy punch at an awkward range, or like from here or something, usually just from here, and you go into the medium, if you have no wind and you go into the medium Condor Spire, sometimes you'll wind up being like +7, versus out here you can be like up to +37 to +39. And that's not including, like, way out here, in which case you'll be, like, if it combos, you'll be, like, +40, so +37 to +40, which can influence the timings. So you can get a meaty one by spinning a bar, by getting the perfect frame kill, to doing drive rush, heavy wind stock. So there's just a number of setups you can do like that. The other thing is where's my notebook? Alrighty, I don't think I brought this up in prior video. I don't think I clarified this in prior videos. Maybe I did. Punishes on Lily's wind Condor dive range from, some of them depend, like if you have there's a minor difference in height and spacing between being like +19, +20 afterwards. So if she does like the wind stock one, so that'll be like -19, which means it's just not in range of drive rush crouch fierce for Ryu, which would be his optimal punish if it was slightly closer, like here. So that's -20 from there. So you can get that. But if you're right outside that range, then Ryu has really low damaging options, and his only really option is doing that to punish Wind Condor Spire. Other than super, so. Yeah, so the only characters that have, like, shitty low damage options are kind of limited. Lily is the worst. Lily and Zangief are both always really bad at punishing stuff at range. So yeah, Lily's options suck, Zangief options suck. And then Blanca does not need to spend meter, but he doesn't have good metered options to punish Wind Condor Spire. But he can just do down forward heavy punch all the time, and it's very consistent. Ryu sucks at ranged out like this. Honda gets pretty weak punishes on this. And then some of the other characters have like lower damage options, like Manon. Manon in general usually has like a pretty consistent punishes on some of Lily's not gimmicky, but punishable attributes. So anyways, that's like the lineup. Every other character gets like a comfortable between 2,500 and 3,000 or more damage out of punishing this on block. For just a drive rush, so yeah. Okay, here, I found it in my notes. Alright, so Lily has a couple other setups that might leave her at some minus frames. So for instance, if you ever do that into, so the knockdown from heavy stock into another light stock, that's minus 17, but a lot of pushback. And if you do non-wind, this knockdown, the heavy DP, and then you get a wind stock off of that, that's minus 10. So, depending if they do recover in place, whatever, what characters, some characters can punish the minus 10. So, on the minus 10, the characters that can punish it are Luke with level 1, Jamie with level 1, Jury level 1, Cammy level 3, Blanca's level 1 or level 3, Guile level 1, and Dulcim level 1. And some of these are dependent on how close you are. For instance, if you're right here, you can be a bit further out for some of the other ones. Those ones are pretty consistent. The less consistent one is the minus 17 you get from doing this back to back. So this, you can be like really far when you do it like this, or you can be quite close when you do it. There's a huge range that you might actually land this heavy wind stock, so pretty large distance. But generally speaking, characters that, if they're close enough, can punish this minus 17. Luke, Drive Rush, Crouch Strong. Jamie, Drive Rush, Crouch Strong. Manon with her medium Dégagere kick or her level 1. Kimberly with Drive Rush Strong or level 1. Marisa with Drive Rush Stand Light kick, only if she's close enough, or level 3. Lily, Drive Rush, Crouch Jab. JP with just down forward heavy punch. All the characters that have like a really consistent meterless option usually have shit options when you actually get to metered. It's weird. Jury, Drive Rush, Crouch Strong. DJ, Drive Rush, Crouch Strong, or level 2. Cammy, EX Drill, EX Spiral Arrow, or level 1. Or level 3. Ryu, level 1. Whatever. Anyway, so, the ones that are, like, very consistent, even at distance, are Manon level 1 or her medium fucking 16 frame Dégagere kicks. Kimberly EX Run Slide. Cammy level 3. Guile level 1. And then Dulcim with any of his buttons that hit within 16, 17 frames. Those are the ones that are consistent at punishing this. And depending on how... Let me demonstrate this. Depending on how quickly they do punish this situation, if it's just on the last frame, Lily will still recover the two wind stocks. So as you can see, this one, which is a 16 frame hit, Lily still gets the wind stock. So she gets one wind from the first stock, the knockdown, and then she gets the second wind right before, like a frame or two before she takes damage. Whereas if Dulcim hits her with a limb that's early enough, Lily will not get the second wind stock. Anyways, I've been exploring a lot of that. Okay, one of the things, and I mentioned this in a previous Lily video, is that Lily's wind stocks accelerate the longer you hold them down. It's not like Jamie's drink, where Jamie's drink, he drinks at a completely consistent rate, number of frames per drinks. Lily, if you hold down the same wind stock, as you can see, takes a while to get to 1, 2 comes faster, and then 3 comes right after 2. So, you have incentive with the character to find opportunities to not only get win stocks, but also find opportunities to... So if you do this, in mid-screen, if they no-tech, you're +2, you can take your turn, you can do whatever. If they back-tech, so let's put them back on back-teching. You're still +2. Now at this range, you have quite a few options you can go for. Extra so if you landed the heavy wind spiral, and then take your fucking wind, and then you're +5 at this range. There's a number of things you can do, and I've been exploring this sort of knockdown situation. So this is like a microcosm of like Lily's approach, where if she's in this situation, get a win stock, you're +2 at about this range. You have a number of options. You can go for, you're still in range for light spiral unless they jump or backdash. You're still in range for EX. Now, if they backdash, here's the thing. So let's switch up characters. Let's demonstrate some of these. Now here's the thing. Heavier is more plus, but it also pushes them further away. So if you do the heavy one, they're in range that they can backdash and still completely escape the what you call it, this. So instead, you have these options at this range off of medium. You can do light or EX Spire, however there are weak points. This is like a microcosm of like how Lily would normally approach. It's just you have a slight advantage on the knockdown situation, you're slightly plus, and you have some slight control over the neutral positioning. So, Lily's general microcosm of offensive options. Jumping and backdashing and a number of other things will beat these Wind Condor Spires in neutral. The hardest thing to outright punish would definitely be backdash. There's a number of things you can do to jump, but backdash is the one that's hardest to clip. However, if you're in this situation, you can do Dry Rush Forward Fierce, and if they backdash, it locks them down, so that if they press a button as soon as possible, it trades unless they have a slower backdash, in which case they lose outright against this. So this is a situation where if they wake up backdash, they get locked down by this Drive Rush Forward Fierce. Now, this is like a general point of the game, but it's really structuring your offense around when the opponent is less likely to interrupt your shit with button drive rush, or depending on the character, and you have to like sort of map out all the characters and like what options they have to interrupt forward movement. So forward dashes, forward drive rushes, anti-air, damage and threat and Oki and whatever, and if they need to use drive rush to get Oki off of their anti-air, and if they're willing to do it, if they're like at 3 or fewer bars. And if that presents some sort of opportunity to you, because players won't always make the rational, logical, mathematically calculated decision in the moment. But generally speaking, I think it's important to look for opportunities to go in when the opponent has 3 or fewer bars, because I think the best opportunity to go in is when them doing a button drive rush cancel will burn them out, or them doing a button drive rush cancel counter DI will burn them out. Because a lot of the times, okay, let's look through, like, what are fucking Luke's checks to forward movement, to forward dashing? Okay, well, he can do crouch strong drive rush, or low forward drive rush. He can do low forward light knuckle if he's close enough. Usually in range, he can do this crouching medium punch target combo, which he can hit confirm if they're running into him. He can do this jab target combo. This is an underrated thing that I feel like Luke players could utilize more often if they want to play in a meterless way and not risk, you know, burning themselves out on a hasty decision. back. Suppressor also messes with the mixing. This is just Luke specific stuff, but like you've also got fucking crouch strong medium flash knuckle, which if you have level 3, I mean any of these things, if you have level 3, it becomes much more difficult to force your way in. Crouch strong EX knuckle generally works very well. Crouch jab EX knuckle tends to work very well as a check. The stand strong, which you can also single hit confirm into the target combo. Stand medium kick is just a quick, fast 7-frame poke, covers a lot of space. Sandblast or EX Sandblast, whatever. And if you're willing to risk like whiffing or whatever, and you're confident about the spacing, Heavy Punch, Drive Rush, or Heavy Punch Sandblast. So those are like a number of things that he can do to check the opponent's forward movement. Now, a lot of the times, I listed a lot of fucking options there, and a lot of the times players will brain rot and forget a number of those options in the moment, because the obvious thing that you want to do to interrupt Drive Rushes with Luke is fucking crouch strong Drive Rush. However, if you don't have the meter to do that, you have to do something else, or you're just gonna, or accept burning yourself out. Some Luke players frequently accept burning themselves out. They burn themselves out all the fucking time. So, this, I feel like, is an underrepresented tool for Lily. Not just DI, but specifically Drive Rush DI. This is her, like, Drive Rush suppressor, basically. Because this will happen frequently. You put them at this spacing where you want to go in. They try to check the Drive Rush with fucking crouch strong or something. Especially if it's a low forward like that with extra recovery compared to the crouch strong, which is like just 21 frames, which is ridiculous. This will duck moves. Not every character's drive impact has the same motion, and Lily's has a good one, has a good suppressor-like one where the motion is all at the end, and so when you do it off of a Drive Rush, she kind of stops suddenly, and it creates these whiff punish situations. Now, this is a good tool for stopping buttons and pokes and stuff, and a lot of options that the opponent might represent. Drive Rush forward fierce is good if they backdash or do nothing. This is good against a number of options as well. This will also create this whiff situation. And it's not too risky to throw out when the opponent backs off, when they jump backwards or backdash. And you still get something out of it by getting your win stock. And then Drive Rush, and then just look and observe is the thing that you would do to beat jumps, especially neutral jumps. And then, you know, there's a number of options that you can get for that. And then, yes. So, the biggest enemies of Lily being able to do, like, wind stocks, wind spires, whatever, is certainly jumping and backdashing. If you have a handful, if you have 2 wind at the start, at least 2 wind, you can do this. To pick up off of anti-airing the neutral jump. You can get a safe jump. If you wait until you're under him, then do the wind DP, which you'll have after you collect this wind stock here. You can get a safe jump on that, even if they back tech. You can pick up an extra wind stock by doing that, and you can hit them high up so you can get, you have other options you can do there. And here, there's another situation where block reversal, crouch jab, fucking back dash, back jump. So you can option select a number of the opponent's options on the +1 that you get, because the +1, since it's not, you know, +2, you don't get guaranteed mix for command throw in case they do their 4-framer, but they're also, you know, taking just a stand light punch, whatever, to punish their jab or their jump out. Just taking that damage to punish their jump out, not or their stand jab, not like incredible damage. So instead, you can option select it with drive rush, but time it so that the start of the drive rush, the parry will perfect parry their 4-framer, and then you can get a punish counter command throw on that. Like so. So punish counter. The value of doing this: 1, you gain back more drive gauge by getting the parry. If you get the perfect parry, if they do their 4-framer. 2, you get punish counter damage on their button. So if you do the command grab, you get the same damage you would have gotten with a combo, but without spending a win stock, for 1, and 2, you get you take off 1 bar of their drive gauge for the punish counter. If you get the backdash, there's a number of things you can do. If you just want to strike, the damage is pretty low, but if you want to, you know, reset them, go for a command grab or something, depending on your execution and your timing of this sequence, you should be able to punish a backdash with like a full command grab. But you know, the timing is a bit tighter for punishing the backdash in this sequence than getting some of the other stuff. So if we just have him doing backdash, so we have to delay our parry for at least, like 3 frames? So if we parry, so he backdashes, so we're +24, so let's say we give up 4 frames before we parry. 3 or 4 frames, that should work. So let's say 20 frames, then we drive rush forwards and execute. So we should be within range to do a number of options, however. So we can do that. That's the modern input, so not full damage. So we could do that for 2800 damage, punish on the backdash. All the other ones are going to be pretty similar, around 1700. You would probably, in case they do nothing and they just sit there and block, you should probably... Your only danger of doing this, your only danger of just doing raw fucking drive rush in front of their face, if you time it correctly, you should be able to not get punish countered for doing parry in front of them. You should get counter hit in case they do a delay back throw or something. In the off chance that they do something weird, like a particularly... If they do a delay jab, then this will hit... The delay jab will hit you for doing this, but, you know, the goal is to get them to either sit there and block on the +1 or not, and this is an option that opens up a lot of those things, as well as the punishes that you get and the options that you get are just flat out better. because they don't take as much wind. You have more options, more flexibility for conversions than just taking the fucking... just doing this every time, just taking the same low damage strike sequence every time. So ordinarily, if we do this and we punish the 4-framer or the jump out, we would get this, which would spend our wind stock, get about 1700 damage, and we'd regenerate 1 bar in the process of all these actions, since we're not spending meter. If we wanted to do something else, we could do that. Or that. We'll build a lot of extra drive gauge back for doing that. Versus... this, which will take one in a portion drive gauge away from the opponent for the punish counter, and build 2 bars of drive gauge back for us, and not sip in the wind stock, and we still get a dry rush Oki afterwards, for which we can spend our wind stock, etc. Now this, I'll have to go and do the fucking research on this, but this is also dependent on each character's 4-framers, because this one's -10, which means we can get some other options. We can do that. Let me figure that really quick. Okay, after running the numbers, seems like most of the casts, their 4-frame defensive jabs are generally -9 on perfect parry. The characters that are more... so -10, Lily will be able to get Crouch Fierce. -11, she'll get Stand Fierce. Luke's Crouch Jab is -10. Manon's Lights will be -11. Marisa's will be -10. Lily's Stand Short is -13. JP... his lights would be -11. Honda's Crouch Jab would be -11. And Zangief's Crouch Short would be -13. Those are all the ones that are at least -10. I also find that there's more value in doing big shit like this. You gotta kind of swing for what you need, especially with a character like this. So, Drive Rush, Stand Fierce more. Stuff that doesn't, like, overextend you, you know? Stuff that doesn't lose to the fucking... stuff that keeps you out of range of neutral jumps. Especially more DIs and forward movement when they are at 3 bars or lower, so that they can't do that. At least without burning themselves out. And also not when they have level 3 to just get all their shit back.